And our next speaker will be Nadine, who will be telling us about science operations at CFHT.
All right, good morning. I will delve into a little bit more details regarding our science operations. First, this is a picture taken near my house, picture of Mauna Kea. This reminds me that I live on Mauna Kea, I work on Mauna Kea, and this is a mountain that has a high significance to the Kanaka Oavi people. Our scientific operations, technical activities, and our plans for the future are driven by input from you, our users, and also the Science Advisory Committee, the Time Allocation Committees, also the board, and external factors. Input from you, our users, include the instrument demand from Phase 1 PI information. So this graph shows the from 2016A to 25B, the instrument demand from PI programs, not large programs, in hours from 100 at the bottom to almost 800 at the top. And you can see that it varies over time. For MegaCam, the demand is also influenced by the presence of large programs. So that's in green, and that fluctuates a little bit. WIRCam, our infrared imager, the demand started to drop in 2019. That's where the first red star is. And then it is the least requested instrument since about 21B. That's where the second star is located. The demand for Espedon and Spiru is quite comparable. So that's Spiru in brown. This big peak is because we did not have a large program that semester. So a lot of PI programs. And in blue, you see Espedons, and they're often at about the same level. For CITEL in dark green, you see that the demand dropped, then surged around 24B, because that's when we started to offer 3 new filters that enhance the capabilities of that instrument. Input from our users, there's also publications. And this is the historical number of papers per instrument with the same color coding from 2011 to 2025, up to 300 papers at the very top. This is PI papers, large programs, papers based on archival data retrieved from CDC, and also catalog-based papers. And so you can see that strong use of MegaCam, our workhorse instrument. Number of papers on Spiru in dark brown, that's increasing. That's great. Also, a lot of papers still from WIRCam and Espedons. For more information about our publications, please see Daniel DeVos' poster in the poster room. Our users have also told us that we need to have a rapid response to target of opportunities observations. If observations are received before 4 p.m., we can perform them in the upcoming night. But if they happen in the middle of the night, like a gamma ray burst, we cannot catch that right now. But we have plans to do that, and Cam Whipper will talk about that in a few minutes. Time allocation committees get all the proposals from Phase 1, and then they rank proposals, and this determines the programs that get allocated time on the telescope. Here you have the percentage of allocated time per instrument, the same color coding, from semester 16A to 25A. So you see that Spiru, of course, we started to use it, and it has a big share of the time, and that's for PI programs. And you can see that WIRCam in red and Espedons in blue, that the amount of time allocated has been shrinking over past semesters. So fewer programs are accepted on WIRCam and Espedons. This creates a challenge for scheduling those instruments. The runs are very short, and very short runs are sometimes very detrimental to the scientific productivity of Espedons programs. If they want 10 consecutive nights to monitor a target, but the run is only 5 nights long, that's a problem. However, Venao-Keao, the co-mount of Spiru and Espedons, that will help definitely. I invite you to check the website for the users meeting. There's a tab, videos on demand. There's a short clip that explains what Venao-Keao means and how to pronounce it. For more details about Lac-à-l'Eau, there's Arturo Lopez-Arist, who's giving a talk also this morning. The SAC issues recommendations. So the recent ones, decommissioning Recamin-Citel at the end of 26B, Lac-à-l'Eau, high priority, we have to get this done. And we have also opened around a call for large programs. We just started Planets on Spiru, Planets, Atmospheres, and Nativity of Extraterrestrial Worlds. And then in 25B, we will start 2 large programs on Megacam, Unions Plus, continuation of CFIS and Unions, and also the Prestige large program. The SAC and also actually the board, they both agreed together to have community survey or surveys like CFHT-LS, which was very successful. And that will happen after the large programs. 3 ideas were initially presented last fall. Today and tomorrow, we will hear about a dozen talks about ideas for community survey. The next step is crucial. We need you. We need the community to form groups, steering groups, working groups, oversee the design and manage that survey. CFHT cannot do it alone. We need a lot of help from all of you. The ideal survey will be, ambitious, big impact, legacy value. There are also technical considerations to always keep in mind if we want to have a successful survey. The ensemble of targets and fields selected have to be observable during the whole year. We have to have some observations that are suitable for above median CE, so above 0.8 arcsecond. And we have to have some observations which are suitable for non-photometric conditions, just a little bit of clouds, thin cirrus, 0.1, 0.2, or 0.3 magnitude. If we have a high demand for dark time, 0.4 arcsecond seeing and no clouds, chances of being successful are decreased. So we need flexibility. This is very important. The board has, of course, provided us with input, and they ask us to do specific items. The Mauna Kea Spectroscopic Explorer is now a project for the 2030s. So the project office was closed earlier this year. We also have a flat budget, which means that with inflation, our budget has been decreasing over the years. This puts a lot of pressure. Our agreement with Asia A, an associate partner, ends in 25B, and the one with NAOC ends in 26B. So those sources of funding will disappear. Fortunately, the board has formed a time allocation subcommittee as a tool to allow welcoming new partners in a very nimble way. In parallel, there's a need to increase efficiency. We need to find the best use of the funds provided by the agencies and partners to balance our scientific productivity. It's a balancing act. The proposed 10-year plan that was presented by Jean-Gabriel streamlines the operations, the workflow, with Lac-à-l'Eau decreasing the number of instruments, which we'll discuss today and tomorrow and Wednesday, and also increasing the fraction of large programs and having a community survey. On the software side, we are working on developments, KLAHO and also QSO, to make incremental improvements, which will save time for us and for our users, or also produce more science in the case of rapid target of opportunity observations. Our operations need to remain viable. What does that mean? We're working on inventories, documentation, and this is a list of the deferred maintenance items that the technical staff has to take care of. Some of them are big, some of them are smaller. They don't all need CFHT staff to be involved from beginning to end. We can contract some of the work, but there's a lot to be done. So the decrease in staffing in the technical groups, shifting away from MSc, then allows us to address deferred maintenance. So this is good. It works out in the end. We have a decrease in staffing in the astronomy group also. Decreasing the number of instruments, shifting to a community survey, and also adding software tools will help us. So we're really working hard to continue to stay viable, productive, and relevant by finding ways to be more efficient. The external factors, economic constraints, the partnerships, we don't know what is going to happen after 2033 when our lease ends. And when I think of the whole picture from now until 2033, so we don't know what will happen after 2033. We have partners and agencies. We will continue to perform PI programs, probably with a smaller share. Right now, we're doing large programs, which we want to continue after a semester gap, maybe with community surveys. We currently have 5 instruments. MegaCam needs to stay operational until 2033 at least. And we are currently working very hard on Venao, which will combine the capabilities of Esperance and SPIU, both at the same time. If you have questions, I am available right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Questions? You showed... Look.
Pretty good. There have been improvements on MegaCam over the years. We also have a program of preventative maintenance. So we kind of take it apart, inspect oil. If it's something we have to rebuild, we can do that. We're keeping an eye on it because it is over 20 years old.
Petra.
After 20... Yeah, we don't know. So as we get closer to the lease renewal, we'll have to remain nimble. If our lease is renewed after 2033, we will have to think of what we have to do next with all our instruments. We really don't know.
Also, just being reminded, Nadine or I should repeat the question as well so that the people on Zoom can hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Any other questions? JJ.
Yeah. Better work. Is primarily create surveys. So it could be a process. Stop those scripts, let them sound, let them skate.
Yes, so for the
just to repeat as well, JJ's just asking about is there going to be a process for sort of establishing the ways in which we actually set up a group to manage the community surveys?
Yeah, exactly. So if you have ideas, if you have experience, if you have expertise and knowledge, please share that with us during the users meeting. After the users meeting, we have the SAC meeting, and that's when we will discuss the process. How do we get groups formed so that they can design and oversee the community survey? So the process still needs to be defined. If you are interested, please let us know. If you have ideas, something to share, please share with us.
I should say probably Stefan and others will talk about this a lot more during the community survey session. But I think a large part that, the SAC is as well looking for people to sort of get a sense of where are the interests, who are the people who are most motivated to do this, and where do the sort of broadest science interests lie. So a lot of it, again, please don't underestimate the importance of making your science known at this meeting. Time for one more question. At front. What is the health of Espadon?
So far, so good. It's also an old instrument. There was a lightning strike a few years ago that hit Gemini, which acted as a lightning bug for us, and then zapped it. But we fixed it. We replaced the motors. We keep an eye on it. We have spares. We are inventorying all our spares to make sure we have enough for MegaCam, Esperance, and SPIU. So we know our instruments are aging. We know what tends to fail, and we try to be one step ahead of failures.
Great. Let's thank Nadine again.